Listen up, guys. If she's suddenly pulling away, your immediate gut reaction is to assume she's lost interest, that she's ghosting you, or that you must have screwed something up along the way. But what if I told you that the complete opposite could actually be true? What if the real reason she's creating all this distance isn't because she doesn't care at all, but because she cares way too much, and she's absolutely terrified of what that really means for her? Stay with me here, because what I'm about to break down for you completely contradicts almost everything you've ever been told about female psychology. And there's one specific behavior toward the end of this script that 99% of men totally misread every single time. Once you spot it in real life, you'll know with absolute certainty that she's actually fighting her own growing feelings for you. But before we get there, you need to understand something that's pretty disturbing. The same woman who's acting scared of you right now might have already pictured an entire future with you in her head. And that's precisely why she's running away as fast as she can. I'm going to walk you through the exact signs that separate a woman who's genuinely uninterested from one who's desperately trying to protect herself from falling too hard. Because once you can accurately read these signals, everything in your dating life changes. You stop panicking over every little thing. You stop chasing her like a desperate puppy. And you finally start understanding what's truly going on beneath the surface. So let's begin with the uncomfortable question. Why would a woman actually run away from a guy she genuinely likes? The truth about why she's pulling back. Imagine this scenario. Everything was going great. She was warm, fully engaged, super flirty. You two had amazing conversations that flowed effortlessly. She was laughing at all your jokes, even the bad ones. The chemistry felt undeniable, electric. Then, out of nowhere, she flips a switch and goes ice cold. Her texts become short and dry. She's suddenly busy every single time you try to make plans. The entire energy between you shifts dramatically. Your brain immediately jumps to the obvious conclusion. She lost interest. Time to move on. But here's the crucial thing most men completely miss, and yeah, it's going to sound insane at first. Sometimes the strongest romantic feelings trigger the strongest internal resistance. And there's legitimate neuroscience that backs this up. When a woman starts developing unexpected, intense feelings for a guy, her brain floods with the exact same stress hormones it releases when she's facing real danger. Her amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear, literally processes emotional vulnerability as if it's a physical threat. Think about that for a second. Her body is chemically screaming at her to run away from you, not because you're bad for her, but because you might actually be too good. Why does this happen? Because opening up and being vulnerable is terrifying, especially for women who've been hurt in the past, women who value their independence above everything, or women who never planned on catching serious feelings for you in the first place. When real emotions start bubbling up, it triggers deep fears. Fear of losing control. Fear of getting heartbroken again, fear of wanting you more than you want her. And here's the part that will absolutely blow your mind. She's probably already tested you multiple times without you even realizing it. Little subtle tests, deliberate distance, manufactured drama, small conflicts, all designed to see if you'll react by chasing her like every other guy she's dealt with. Depending on how you responded or didn't respond, you either passed or failed those tests without ever knowing they were happening. But I'll break down exactly what those tests look like in just a minute, because once you recognize them, you'll start seeing them everywhere. This protective mechanism isn't logical. It's pure emotional survival. Her brain is doing everything it can to shield her heart from potential pain. And ironically, the more she actually likes you, the harder she might push you away to keep herself safe. But here's the most important key to remember. When a woman is truly scared of catching feelings, she doesn't just vanish completely, she leaves breadcrumbs, clues, patterns, contradictions that don't add up if you assume she's uninterested. That's exactly what we're about to decode in detail. But before I reveal the specific signs, there's something most dating coaches will never tell you. There's one particular type of woman who will never show these signs, no matter how much she likes you. And if you're dealing with her, everything I'm about to teach you simply won't apply. Stick around until the end, because I'll tell you exactly who she is and how to spot her instantly. So, how do you tell the difference between genuine disinterest and emotional self-protection? That's where the real game-changing insight begins. The signs she's actually scared of catching feelings. Before we dive deeper, do me a quick favor and hit that like button right now, because what's coming next includes a sign so subtle that the second I explain it, you're going to immediately think of a specific woman in your life. Let's keep rolling. First sign, and this one's the most confusing of all: hot and cold behavior. One day she's texting you back instantly, using emojis, laughing out loud, sharing personal stories about her life. The next day she's distant, taking hours or even a full day to respond, giving short one-word answers that kill the vibe. If she truly didn't care at all, the temperature would stay consistently cold forever. But this constant back and forth swing, that's classic internal conflict. One part of her desperately wants to lean in and get closer. The other part wants to bolt in the opposite direction. And here's something even more disturbing. The warmer and more connected she gets with you, the colder she'll usually go the very next day. It's not random chaos, it's proportional. You have an incredible, deep conversation late at night. Watch her go radio silent the next morning. When you notice this pattern, it's not rejection. It's her resisting her own growing feelings. She's essentially punishing herself for letting things get too close the night before. But there's a hidden clue inside this sign. Pay very close attention to exactly when she goes cold. If it's almost always right after a vulnerable moment, an emotional conversation, or anything that felt intimately connecting, that's your smoking gun proof. Second sign, this one's deeply psychological. She gets defensive the moment you start getting too close. You ask her a personal question. You give her a sincere, meaningful compliment. You casually mention something about the future, even something light like weekend plans, and suddenly she deflects hard. She cracks a joke to change the subject, acts uncomfortable, or shuts down the topic completely. Women who are genuinely uninterested don't bother getting defensive. They simply don't engage in the first place. But when she's scared of developing feelings, emotional intimacy starts feeling dangerous. So she throws up walls the second things start feeling too real. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Watch what happens if you pull back a little after she gets defensive. Does she suddenly chase you? Does she reach out first with some random excuse or light message? If yes, you've just confirmed she's scared because she doesn't want you too close, but she definitely doesn't want you gone either. Third sign, this one will make you replay every past interaction you've ever had with a woman. She watches you closely but pretends she's not. You catch her staring when she thinks you're not looking. She views your Instagram or Snapchat stories within minutes of you posting them, but takes forever to reply to your direct messages. She somehow knows small details about your life that you only mentioned in passing once. And here's the slightly creepy part. She remembers random things you said weeks ago, things you don't even remember telling her. That's not casual indifference. That's someone who's quietly paying intense attention while trying hard not to show it. That's the behavior of a woman who's replaying your conversations in her head over and over. If she truly didn't care, she wouldn't be watching at all. I'll explain exactly how to use this to your advantage in the strategy section, because once you know she's secretly watching, you can communicate powerful messages without saying a single word. Fourth sign, and this is where most men get it completely wrong. She casually mentions other guys, but never with any real seriousness or excitement. She'll drop little comments like, "Some guy asked me out the other day," or "My ex randomly texted me," or "There's this dude at work who's always flirting." But pay close attention. There's zero genuine investment or enthusiasm in how she tells these stories. Here's what's really going on, and yes, it's a bit manipulative but highly effective. She's testing your emotional reaction. Will you get visibly jealous? Will you pull away in insecurity? Will you suddenly start fighting harder for her attention? This is another protection mechanism. She's artificially creating competition because deep down, she wants to see if you're willing to step up. But here's the major twist. If you do show jealousy, you instantly fail the test. The correct response? Complete indifference mixed with a touch of amused confidence. And we'll cover exactly how to do that later. Fifth sign, and this one's an absolute dead giveaway. Her friends start acting weird around you. They give you those knowing smiles or side glances. They look surprised when she acts distant in front of you. They might even drop hints like, "Oh, she talks about you all the time," or casually suggest you should totally text her more. But here's what they're not saying out loud. They know her patterns inside out. They've watched her do this exact same push-pull dance with other guys she actually liked a lot, and now they're observing to see if you're different from the rest. If her friends seem invested in you too, it's because you've become a frequent topic in her group chats. Women who aren't interested at all don't waste time making you the subject of conversation with their closest friends. And if her friends start engineering situations where you two end up alone, or they mysteriously disappear when you show up, that's not random coincidence. That's coordinated matchmaking from the sidelines. How to handle a woman who's scared of catching feelings. Most guys make one of two fatal mistakes in this situation. Mistake number one, they chase even harder, bombarding her with reassurance, trying to convince her that it's safe to open up. Mistake number two, they walk away completely, assuming she's just playing immature games. Both approaches are dead wrong. Chasing too hard confirms you're overly needy and emotionally dependent on her approval. Walking away entirely confirms, in her mind, that you never really cared in the first place. Neither makes her feel safe, and neither is attractive. Here's what actually works, and it's beautifully counterintuitive. Give her genuine space, but don't completely disappear. Don't flood her with constant reassurance. Don't pressure her to talk about her feelings. Don't try to logically argue her out of her fear. That only proves you're way too invested way too soon. Instead, mirror her energy, not out of petty revenge, but out of genuine self-respect. If she pulls back, you pull back too. Not to punish her, but to demonstrate that you're not desperate, that you have your own full life, and that you're not sitting around waiting for her to make up her mind. But here's the advanced nuance. When you pull back, always pull back to something meaningful, not into an empty void. Stay consistent in your overall vibe, but never clingy. Check in occasionally with light, low-pressure messages. Show you're still interested, but make it clear you're not putting your entire life on pause for her. And here's the subtle manipulation that actually works wonders. When you do reach out, make it about something specific and thoughtful, never a generic, "Hey, what's up?" or "How are you?" Instead, send something like, "Saw this and immediately thought of you," with a genuinely relevant photo, meme, or article. This accomplishes two powerful things. It proves you're thinking about her without seeming needy. It shows you're living an interesting life full of experiences worth sharing. When she sees that her distance doesn't rattle you or throw you into panic mode, something magical happens. Her fear begins to dissolve. The very thing she's terrified of, losing herself completely in the connection, feels far less threatening when you're not demanding every ounce of her attention and emotional energy. Another key, show vulnerability, but always stay grounded and secure. Share your own past hurts or fears when the moment feels natural, but never make her your emotional therapist or project to fix. Women are deeply attracted to emotional depth, but repelled by emotional dependency. Example, wrong. I really like you a lot and I'm scared you're going to disappear on me. Right. Yeah, I've been burned pretty badly before too, so I totally get the hesitation and caution. Same underlying message, completely different confident energy. And above all, live your life at 100%. Hit the gym consistently, crush your goals, spend quality time with friends and family, build something you're genuinely proud of. When she witnesses you thriving independently, two massive things happen. She realizes you're not sitting around waiting for her to decide your worth. She starts feeling truly safe, because a man who's secure in himself is the only kind of man she can eventually trust with her heart. Now, here's what I promised earlier, the one major exception you absolutely need to know. There's a specific type of woman who will display every single one of these signs, but will never actually commit, no matter what you do. She's not scared of feelings. She's addicted to the thrill of the chase and the emotional drama. The key difference, a woman who's genuinely scared of catching feelings will, over time, with patience and consistency, gradually let her guard down and let you in. A woman addicted to the chase will invent new excuses to pull away every single time you finally get close. How do you tell them apart? It's simple. Track the trend over time. With the scared woman, her resistance slowly decreases as she feels safer. With the chase-addicted woman, her resistance stays constant, or actually increases, the closer you get. If after weeks, or even months, of handling everything perfectly, she's still running the exact same hot and cold cycle with zero real progress, she's not scared. She's feeding off the drama, and you need to walk away permanently, not as a tactic, but as basic self-respect. Final truth. Here's the raw truth nobody wants to hear. You can't force someone to stop being afraid, but you can become the kind of high-value man who makes that fear feel completely unnecessary. And when you reach that level,